Welcome everybody back to FPV Anonymous. My name is Chris, and I have been an FPV addict for over 5 years now, and there's no way in hell I'm gonna stop. What's up, everybody? Quick little video, just talking about some stuff that's going on, and some fun projects coming up. Just kind of like cliffhanger, teaser stuff that keeps you guys entertained in this crazy quarantine world. But let me switch you around. So I pulled the trigger today and pre-ordered something really cool. I don't want to give it away. I don't want to talk about it. It's obviously a quad. It's going to be small, and it's going to be fun. It's along the lines of where my passion has started in this hobby, obviously flying, but just needed something other than what I have to add to the ever-growing list of things that I fly. And I tend to want to fly more micro type stuff these days because you can take them to people's backyards, indoor events, and other things like that, where the 5-inch kind of have a limited purpose. Yes, I fly them in my yard. I'm kind of pushing back away from that because, God forbid, fail safe, or prop goes bad and it lands on somebody's roof or worse. So I have kind of dubbed my yard a no-fly zone for the bigger guys, unless it's just a quick test and tune in the backyard, just to eliminate that. But it is a micro paradise, as you saw from my last video. And if you guys tuned in and watched through the whole video, I greatly appreciate it. And I like to talk about some of the stuff I do in the videos that you may have missed, because there was one video I did, I think it was the Contemporary Challenge 2, where I talked about why I did transitions the way that I did using the song, and how I used the lyrics in the song to kind of how I was flying. And for a lot of people, it made more sense. They saw it completely different after that. And it was kind of the same thing with this one, where I did there was 3 songs in it, like the intro part of Brian's first flight, and then his actual kind of edit, and then my edit. I used 3 different types of songs. I used something very funny that almost sounded like a Ren and Stimpy infomercial kind of sound. For you youngins, that was a great cartoon back in my youth, a long time ago. Ren and Stimpy, God love them. But I did that funny, kind of goofy, lighthearted intro and part of his flight to just set the mood, and then I did a little bit of a suspenseful kind of army sounding song that kind of went, or like a Star Wars type thing that goes kind of with flying, and I think it came out great. And then mine, I used a song that I used before, but it just had that element that the song was called Danger, and just it kind of went with the flipping and the rolling. And I love how I transition multiple quad flights all into one flight, and then clips of them kind of all mixed in together. A lot of the moves were hit to the beat. When the guy's saying something, that it flips around and it goes to that. I hit a couple branches with a tiny whoop that went with one of the sounds that was in the background of it. It just came out super, super cool. So I hope you guys appreciated the time and the effort that I put in, and you saw the vision that I was shooting for. But all right, let me show what I got on the table. Brian, if you're watching this is kind of a surprise for you. We were talking about a camera for Buzz. I'll move my finger out of the way. This is the Cadex Kangaroo that we are going to throw into Buzz to fix the crappy camera they put in there, and you'll be able to adjust your settings to make it a much, much better experience for you flying. And hopefully you'll figure out that broken motor situation so we can get it up and flying. What else do I got on? I got a bunch of electronics. Nothing's organized here. So for my next build, I have a name picked out. I have a whole thing. I don't even want to. It's, I think, a 110 size quad, but I'm going to use a full size receiver. I just decase them because they're much smaller inside the case. I got my VTX here, the VTX 02 from Eachine. It's a super go-to for me. They're like anywhere from $8 to $12. Super tiny, compared to my hand. I mean, I got big thumbnails, but I mean, look at it. My thumbnail's the same size as the freaking thing. Perfect. And I got blood on my finger for something. I must have cut myself. Anyway, iFlight antenna. I've been going with these guys a lot, from frames to these things, because they are a great product. I like this especially. It's going to be on a micro side, and I've run these size on my 5-inch quads, but for micros, it's a definite weight thing. They're much smaller, they're robust, they hold up well, especially if you position them in the way out the back or whatnot, where they're not going to get hit and smashed around. For the camera, breaking away for Caddx for the first time in quite some time. I wanted to do a micro, not spend a lot of money. This is the Foxeer Razor Micro. It's got a lot of great reviews. It's definitely a small form factor. It's going to fit perfectly for what I'm doing, and color-wise, I think it'll fit. It's got an epic amount of wire, so you could wire this thing in a monster quad if you wanted to. But this will be perfect. I was kind of thinking about doing like a baby turtle, but I didn't want to add the weight, you know, because I wanted it HD and whatnot. But I think this will do fine, and who knows, maybe down the road, we'll see. Props. Got some of the Avans. I had these for my old quad that I had, Whip 2.0, Whip and Whip 2.0, the same quad. I ran these. What's their size? These are the 2.3. Yeah, the Baby Hawk props. These things are remarkable. The amount of punch that you get out of them. They're not horrible on the efficient side. I'm not a hardcore throttler anyway, so I got these as an option. I'm a huge Gem fan. Picked up some blue. I'm looking over there. Got some pink props to try out. And there's an option with this quad without giving, it's basically like a ducted or non-ducted kind of fund that I can have. And I've got some bigger HQ props that I'm going to try. These may not work on the build, but for the price, they were like $2. I couldn't go wrong. But I can use these in other ideas that I have coming up in the future, so we'll see. So we got some cool product I'm working on. That's, you know, Foxeer's got the manual. That's pretty cool. I watched, and when I'm interested in something, I'm nuts, where I'll go on YouTube and all the other sites and review and read information that I can find on all the shit that I'm interested in. I like dig. I dig these little controllers and that you can adjust some of the settings. I'm going to sit down and go through some of the footage that I had from last Sunday. I obviously didn't use all of it because I couldn't, because the video would be freaking 800 hours long with all of the footage. But I know there's some just quick clips and little tricks and stuff that I did that I'd like to get out there and make a video. I'm kind of thinking about doing this little side project, and I'll work with Brian, see if he's interested when he comes down and flies. But I keep pushing myself. I've kind of pushed away from the freestyle aspect of flying and gone very cinematic, and that's with my edits and stuff too. But that part of just being able to rip around and flip and roll and stuff has definitely piqued my interest again a little bit, and it's more with the micros. And with my yard, for example, there's a lot of trees and weird gaps and stuff like that I'm interested in shooting. So maybe it'll turn into like a contest, or get other people involved and say, okay, you know, here's a fun trick to do, even if it's just a minute-long video, just to keep everybody kind of in touch and horsing around. For example, let me grab a quad just because I have like my whoop up here. So in the backyard to the left of the swing set, not that it means anything, there's just a tree with a Y in it, and when I was flying, and I don't think I got footage of it because at the end I wasn't recording anything because I had so much footage, but I was going through the gap in the tree, and as I was cresting into the Y, there's a sexual joke you can insert there, but as I was going into the Y and cresting it, I was backflipping and then going down and flying, and then I was going in and front flipping, and like the swing set, the gap, as Cyberdoc, my brother, also check him out. If you guys haven't followed him or seen him through the comments on my channel, Cyberdoc, if you want great content and a different point of view in this world, I think you'll appreciate him. Check him out. But the rite of passage, as he called it, when you fly in my yard, is shooting the gap in the swing set through the twisty slide. And I spent a whole pack trying to barrel roll and get out of it, and for whatever reason, maybe I was just tired, or I don't know what it was, I only got through it once clean, and it really wasn't as clean as I wanted it to. I think I was throttling down too much, so when I got basically here, I was already coming down too much and not smoothly snapping and coming out of it. So I'm going to work on that, but I think that could be fun, because I know a lot of you guys fly micros. Reese FPV is a big guy that flies some micros, and he's an awesome pilot. There's Ed, love my drones, aka the Flying Lunatic. I was pissed. Speaking of that, the video I did for him with the Mobula 7, I didn't realize that while editing, when I did the intro part for him, I had not shoved it over far enough so it cut off the C on the edit, but whatever. But everyone's flying micros, it seems, lately, so it would be kind of cool to see if we can all come together and horse around. Another dude, speaking of that, and he's the reason why I pre-ordered the quad that I did, Nathan Loops. He's across the pond, I think, and he is a phenomenal pilot. He flew whatever the hell it was he was flying in his house in Acro, and he'd like, oh, I can't even describe it. The amount of insanity he has on the sticks flying in the house with something probably no bigger than this, that just flipping and rolling. He was diving off the stairs. Oh, he did. It was like a backflip or a front flip off the stairs, but instead of coming out of it and going or turning and going down, he flipped and then came down backwards and flew backwards. Absolutely blew my mind. Just check him out too. I'm sure that video is one of his newer ones. Yeah, so like I said, the contests and stuff, now that it's becoming warmer out and everyone can fly, I think the little challenges is what kind of brings us all together, pushes us. I loved the feedback from my very first real one that I did when I did the contemporary challenge originally, where it broke people out from their comfort zone of flying and tried something new, tried to become more one with the quad, making the song feel like part of the flight, like they are all meant to be. Like when you saw that flight, that is like, wow, he flew to that song, or that's kind of where my head's at. That's my insanity. So I think there's a lot of potential for good stuff coming up. I'm going to continually grow and make this New England FPV thing a stippler. Stippler isn't even a word. A staple of New England. So as it starts at this very small stage, it's going to grow. There's going to be more people. And then when we get enough, we'll have bigger meets, more crazy videos, just more networking of, this hobby, us helping one another, learning new things, picking up the right parts, etc., etc. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So this is the exciting part of it, because it's still in the idea process, and there's only a couple of us that are kind of talking in this thing, whatever you want to call it. I can't think of the right word. Fraternity. We'll call it a fraternity. The fraternity of people extremely addicted to flying. But I think that's all I got for now. I'm still waiting for parts. I know race day quads Brian ordered me a bunch of stuff, because like I said, I swapped him some parts for the Evo build that I've had for a little bit. So hopefully that stuff will be here this week, and then this desk will be a cluttered soldering mess, because I'm going to start that build, which will be fun. And then we'll see where we go from there. If you have any ideas, comments, if you're interested in being a part of New England FPV, hit me up, let me know. Maybe we can make chapters of this, New England FPV and Southeast we could, networking, bring us together. Something that will help one another, a platform that we can use to help you tune your quad, to help you make an intro, to troubleshoot something that's going on with one of your quads. That's why we're here. That's why I enjoy doing what I do, because it helps people. And I think there's a lot of potential there. So let me know what you think. And then we'll network this and see what we can get out of it. I think it's around dinner time, so I'm going to get up and start cooking some grub, spending some time with the fam, get some editing done maybe, who knows. I'm exhausted, so I don't feel like doing much of shit. Peace out. I appreciate everybody. We'll see you guys in the next one.